Welcome to Lit with Ernest, where we dive into the world of literature and explore the most significant works that have shaped our understanding of the human experience. Today, we're going to talk about a pivotal moment in history that has had a lasting impact on Western culture: Martin Luther's speech before the Diet of Worms. In 1521, Luther stood before the Holy Roman Emperor Charles V and a gathering of bishops, princes, and nobles, refusing to recant his criticisms of the Catholic Church. This courageous act of defiance sparked the Protestant Reformation, a movement that would change the course of Christian history and shape the modern world. To understand the significance of Luther's speech, we need to consider the historical context in which it took place. The early 16th century was a time of great turmoil and upheaval in Europe. The Catholic Church, once the dominant authority, was facing challenges from within and without. Corruption, abuse of power, and theological disputes had created an atmosphere of discontent among clergy and laity alike. Luther's speech was a culmination of years of frustration and disillusionment with the Church's practices. He had been criticizing the sale of indulgences, the concept of papal infallibility, and other doctrines that he believed were contrary to Scripture. His famous 95 Theses, nailed to the door of the Wittenberg Castle Church in 1517, had sparked a wave of protests and debates across Europe. From a literary perspective, Luther's speech is a masterpiece of rhetoric and persuasion. He employed a range of techniques, including allusion, metaphor, and repetition, to convey his message and convince his audience. His use of biblical imagery and references to church fathers like Augustine and Jerome added weight and authority to his arguments. One of the most striking aspects of Luther's speech is its emphasis on individual conscience and the importance of personal faith. He argued that Scripture alone should be the basis for Christian doctrine, rather than tradition or ecclesiastical authority. This idea, known as sola scriptura, was a radical departure from the prevailing views of the time and would have far-reaching consequences for Western Christianity. Luther's speech also exemplifies the concept of apostrophe, where he directly addresses his audience and appeals to their emotions and reason. He uses rhetorical questions, like, "What is the church, if not the community of believers?" to engage his listeners and challenge their assumptions. This technique creates a sense of intimacy and immediacy, drawing the audience into the debate and making them feel invested in the outcome. The cultural impact of Luther's speech cannot be overstated. It helped spark the Protestant Reformation, which led to the emergence of new denominations like Lutheranism, Calvinism, and Anglicanism. The speech also influenced the development of modern democracy, as it emphasized the importance of individual conscience and the right to dissent from established authority. In contemporary culture, we can see echoes of Luther's speech in social movements around the world, from the civil rights movement to modern-day activism. The idea that individuals have the power to challenge unjust systems and create positive change is a direct legacy of Luther's courageous stand at the Diet of Worms. Of course, not everyone has viewed Luther's speech as heroic or inspiring. Some critics have seen it as divisive, even inflammatory, arguing that it contributed to the sectarian violence and intolerance that characterized the Reformation era. However, I would argue that this criticism misses the point. Luther's speech was never about promoting hatred or violence, but about standing up for what he believed in, even if it meant going against the established order. As we reflect on the enduring significance of Luther's speech before the Diet of Worms, we're reminded that courage is not the absence of fear. It's the willingness to act in spite of fear. Luther's speech shows us that our convictions are what define us, and that standing up for what we believe in is the highest form of dignity. In conclusion, Luther's speech before the Diet of Worms remains a powerful and thought-provoking work, one that continues to inspire and challenge readers today. Its themes of courage, conviction, and the power of language are just as relevant now as they were when Luther first delivered his speech over 500 years ago. Like this episode if it hit true. Share it if you respect honest talk about books. Subscribe because we'll do this again. This is Ernest, signing off.